question mark as to whether Mike Skinner will be racing next weekend. The 5 truck does not have a motor lined up for next week, and I talked to Mike Skinner before the race, and he had that look on his eye where he just didn't know for sure if this is going to come around. That would be one of the biggest tragedies in this series if Mike Skinner's not racing, but I think next week is a big question mark for the 5 team. Let's look at the number 7, which is Justin Lofton, right behind Skinner. He has moved up to 9th position right now. When he was on the radio just a little bit ago talking to his crew chief, Mark Redd, and Redd said, put your right side tires on that patch after you come off the tunnel turn. That'll help free you up a little bit. The number 7, Justin Lofton, talking about being tight on the racetrack. Number 31 is James Busher. That'll round out our top 10 drop back. Throughout the course of this weekend, Busher has really liked the way his truck entered into turn number 1. But as Daryl and Phil have told us a number of times, this track is such a compromise. He's great through 1, okay through the tunnel, but just cannot get off turn number 3. So far today, that's pretty much been the theme on my end of pit road.
And you know, guys, we were talking about aerodynamics and push and all that, but one of the things that we noticed, we talk about when we watch the Cup cars, is how they crab them out, how the back of the car is kicked out to the right to get that extra downforce. Well, if you notice this truck coming down into the corner, as you look down the side of the 5 truck of Mike Skinner, you see that right rear corner kicked out, and you can see the spoiler. They're allowed to do that with the body on the trucks. And that's the way they used to do it on the cars. But when they came with the COT and the crab that they put over the top of the car, the body had to stay symmetrical. You couldn't do all that moving around. But they're still allowing them to do it in the trucks, and that's how you create additional downforces to kick that right rear corner out, get that big old spoiler out there where it's seeing a lot of air getting into the corner. Makes it a lot easier to drive.
See, Justin Lofton's finishes the last 3 races, nothing but bad luck for this team. Had that great 3rd place finish at Dover and has run extremely well. But he's had a couple engine failures, ran out of fuel one time, which was due to an ignition problem to keep him from getting the good finishes he deserved. Casey Kane now has run up to the back of that 2 of Elliott Sadler.
Yeah, looks like he can catch him. We've seen that a couple of times already. That the thing is going to be, and man, Elliott's already playing like it's the last lap. He must be practicing.
Elliott looks like a dog that somebody's climbed onto his tail and is trying to get him off, but Elliott moving all over the racetrack, and Casey Kane following everywhere he goes.
But you see right there how Elliott gets through the tunnel turn so much better than Casey does in the 18. That's where he really gaps him.
We've already completed 18 laps now, so if the caution were to come out now, these guys would be in their window to make it the rest of the way. Will anybody try to gamble and stop on the green to get that track position if the caution comes out, Daryl?
I don't think so, Phil. I think this is such a short race, it may not be worth it.
Elliott Sadler out in front of Casey Kane. We've completed 18 to the 50 laps, and it's been all Elliott Sadler up to now. Be the biggest racing fan you can be with Verizon Championship Racing at the track and on your phone. From nationwide and IndyCar driver meet and greets to exclusive peaks and VCAS phone, where your hard card to chart to racing nirvana. Only from the network with the most 3G coverage, Verizon.
I feel that tunnel turn is really working good for the 2 truck of Elliott Sadler. Look what a gap he puts on Casey Kane in the 18 when they go across the tunnel turn.
That whole entire gap right there came from that tunnel turn.
One turn.
It looked like Elliott was 5 miles an hour faster through that turn.
Adam Alexander, what's the 2 team talking about?
Well, Daryl and Phil both agree that the 2 truck is better in the tunnel turn than Casey Kane, and that's the difference, as you see Butch Hilton, his crew chief, left of your screen. So, Daryl and Phil, what do you think the driver's complaining about right now? The tunnel turn. He said, I'm a little free over there, and they've already talked about making an air pressure adjustment to make him even better. Perhaps that is where this race will be decided today.
Adam, I think you need to go tell him not to make that adjustment. What do you think, Daryl?
Well, I tell you one thing. Right now, if I'm in the, got a lead change here. Here we go.
And that was off the tunnel turn where Elliott has been so good. He must have got a little bit looser down there.
He convinced himself that he was loose there because he wasn't up until then.
Casey Kane takes over the top spot as they come out of turn number 3. This will be the first lap that he has led in Pocono in a truck. Elliott Sadler second now.
Now that snaking down the front straightaway like that is something that Neil Bonnet did years and years ago. And everybody was going nuts because you can't do that. What's he thinking? What's he doing? Well, he's trying to break the draft or stir up the air so the guy behind him can't get up to him.
It's a good battle right there. There's Austin Dillon, right side of your screen. Ron Hornaday. That's a battle for the 6th position. But we wondered what happened to Elliott Sadler to lose that lead. We know how good he's been through the tunnel turn. Watch this now. He's going to run up on the 48 truck right there. Tim Bainey Jr. slowed him down, exiting the corner.
Yeah,
that gave Casey the momentum.
There you go.
So Elliott Sadler loses the position to Casey Kane. Now will Casey Kane pull away, or can Elliott Sadler stay right with him?
There's another look at it. Elliott was just a little late getting back to the throttle as he drove around Tim Bainey. That momentum cost him that spot right there.
That is the key word, momentum. When you can't get back to the throttle and the other guy does, you're going to pass him like he did right there.
At the stripe, they go across. The difference just over 0.4 of a second. So Kane just a bit faster than Elliott Sadler.
By the way, that's Denny Hamlin in 3rd, right about 3 truck lengths behind Elliott Sadler right there.
You know what Denny Hamlin's doing? He's lurking.
Lurking?
He's lurking.
He's something to do that here, isn't
he? Yes, he is. He knows a lot about this racetrack, I've been told.
Denny Hamlin with quite a bit of success here. He has 4 wins in the Cup Series.
He could just be back there singing a Sunshine song right now. Just watch it.
Adam Alexander.
Rick, prior to that last commercial break, we heard Phil talking about strategies that will play out and when will these drivers come to pit road. We just heard Eric Phillips, crew chief for leader Casey Kane, say 10 laps we will be pitting. So that would put him in somewhere just past lap 30. We'll have to wait and see what everyone else is thinking in that regard.
And then now, I mean, this is the longest that anybody's been on the racetrack under green conditions like this. So tires and all those things that we were wondering about are starting to play out. Who's got the best truck on the long run?
Great battle for 6th and 7th on the left of your screen. Hornaday on the outside, Austin Dillon on the inside. I think the other big question we've got to think about is this is a long way around this racetrack. Could you run out of fuel if you don't know exactly how far you can go?
All I can tell you is you better not.
Yeah, you won't make it back around.
You can't make it back.
Exactly, and is that a big enough? Would you gamble if you're Casey Kane if you're not quite sure how many laps you can go?
The pit window is 30 to 35. You're going to pit early on your first stop, on this one stop, because of that very reason. If it was later in the race, you had been in the pits a couple of times and you could calculate your mileage, maybe you could take a chance, but not now.
We're on lap 24.
We're coming up on halfway.
And we've heard somebody say, well, 10 laps. That would be 34 or 33 in that lane.
I think they'll be in around 32.
That seems like it would be a gamble.
You got to take it. You can't take a chance right now.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, for Denny Hamlin, he's going to go to lap 35. They don't want to take a chance on coming too early and then maybe getting that yellow. But the reason they were able to extend that just a little bit was that very first caution that we got. So they feel confident with those few caution laps that they can make it on my end down here to lap 35.
Listen, Ray, coming in late is not – coming in early is the hot tip. And then if you get the caution, as we said in the opening, you're in the catbird seat. Waiting till the very last minute to pit, really, other than having better tires than the other guys at the end of the race, there's still a big gamble if you stay out too long.
And if you wait till 35, you've only got 15 laps to go.
That's it.
I mean, this is a 50-lap race. It is going fast. We're at the halfway point. We're on lap 25 of 50.
And by the way, we're halfway through the season right now, too.
Officially halfway through the season.
This would be
12 and a half races.
Yeah, this would be halfway of this race, and that race would end, but we're not going to end the season because of that.
No, we won't. Casey Kane out in front. Can he make it 3 in a row? This is his 3rd start in the Camping World Truck Series. He has 2 wins in his other 2, looking to make it a perfect career. Royal Purple, performance oil that outperforms. And by Damp Rid, because the key to mold control is moisture control. Control them both with Damp Rid. We're under our 2nd caution of the day, and this time it was Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the number 6 that brought this caution out. He got into the wall in turn number 3.
Yep, and as they say, this changes everything.
All the strategy now goes out the window.
Yeah, now we're going to all come in at the same time. Everybody's going to get tires, and we'll go back to racing again.
And then we may be far enough into this race now, Darrell. We'll probably restart with about 20 laps to go. If they get another caution with 10 to go, I don't know if tires are going to be worth enough to come back and give up the track position.
Well, yes and no. The lap times have fallen off to 58.7. That's what, a couple of seconds off of what they qualified.
And away went the right front tire of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Here you see him into the wall.
Yep, safer barrier there, caught him.
Thank goodness there's no safer barriers.
I don't know, Phil. Tires would be worth a whole lot. It would just depend. It's those guys down there will have to make that decision.
How important is track position versus the 4 fresh tires? Our Aaron's lucky dog goes to Chase Mattioli.